Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in Just Flight's Piper Warrior 2. We are doing another subscriber request. Today's flight is for Jack Solomon 9513, who requested a night flight around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is his home field. So we'll be doing a VFR transition of the Dallas Bravo, departing from Addison and arriving at Mesquite Metro. We'll fly right past downtown Dallas, which should look amazing courtesy of SamScene3D. Should be an awesome flight, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. The Piper Warrior was recently updated for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and released as a free update by Just Flight if you own the 2020 version. So we've got the window open, we've got enough ambient light that we don't need to turn on our headlamp. We'll check that all of our switches are off, circuit breakers are in, mixture is at idle cutoff, throttle is to idle, carb heat's in. Our trim wheel will adjust and set for takeoff. Parking brake is set. Fuel selector to the left fuel tank. Turn on the battery and the alternator. And with those on, we can bring up the panel lights so we can see what we're doing. There we go. That looks better. The Piper Warrior does have great night lighting. Another reason I chose it for this flight. Alright, we do have a full fuel tank left and right. That all looks good. Prop area is clear. Mixture full rich. Crack the throttle. Clear prop. Check the parking brake, that is set. Fuel pump is now on, there we go. Feet are on the brakes. Keys are in the ignition. Crank it over. Takes a minute, I like that. And we've got a good start. We can see that we do have oil pressure. RPMs are just above 1,000. So we'll bring those RPMs back to just below 1,000, and then we'll lean the mixture for ground operations. The avionics switch is over to the right of the throttle quadrant here, a little bit hard to see. We'll flip that on. Let's turn on the dome light just so we can see all of our instruments a little bit easier. I love this red dome light, that looks pretty cool. Alright, yep, avionics are on. We'll turn on the DME, and then we have an old school Garmin 100 that will turn on and set to minimum brightness. Alright, let's close the window, then we'll dial in the ATIS and get the weather.
Addison Airport, Information Sierra, 0255 Zulu, wind 145 at 6, visibility 10.
Alright, Cessna 427 Tango Foxtrot, maintain VFR at or below 9,500, departure 124.3, squawk 4234.
Addison clearance, Warrior 8289 Alpha with information Sierra request Dallas Class Bravo transition to the south at 2,500, destination Mesquite, Hotel Quebec Zulu.
Warrior 89 Alpha, cleared through the Dallas Class Bravo airspace to the south at or below 2500 feet. Maintain VFR, departure frequency 124.3, squawk 2534.
Cleared through the Dallas Class Bravo at or below 2,500, departure 124.3, squawk 2534, Warrior 8289 Alpha.
Warrior 89 Alpha, feedback correct.
Alright, as we get everything set up, open up ForeFlight and take you through the flight brief. So we are departing from Addison, which is a Class Delta underneath the Class Bravo of Dallas. We're going to transition the Class Bravo, do a sightseeing tour past Dallas, and then arrive at Mesquite Metro, which is also a Class Delta beneath the Class Bravo. You can see that there's a lot of complexity here with the airspaces, which is why we've got the Bravo transition. And it's a little bit easier to see what we're doing if we toggle over to the satellite view, so I'll bring that up now. So on departure, we are flying southwest. We're flying at night, so we're looking for things that are well lit up, like Interstate 35 East. Then we're going to cross 635 and arrive at the intersection of 114 and 161. There we'll turn southeast and follow the Trinity River until we arrive at the intersection of 30 and 35 just off to the west of Dallas. You can see we've got Dallas Love Field, which is also a Class Bravo airport. It shares its airspace with Dallas Fort Worth, which is why we're staying to the west of the river. Now, once we arrive downtown, we're going to do a flyby of downtown and continue on following Interstate 35 to 30. And then from 30 will eventually split off into Route 80. And when we arrive at that split, we're going to turn right and follow Route 80. And that should bring us just northwest of Mesquite. So we're expecting either a right base or right downwind for Mesquite. Addison Ground, we're 8289 Alpha, parked at Atlantic Aviation, taxi for Southwest VFR departure with information Sierra.
Warrior 8289 Alpha, Addison Ground, taxi to runway 16 via Alpha.
Taxi runway 16 via Alpha, Warrior 89 Alpha. We'll turn off our red cabin light for taxi, turn on our landing light, which is also our taxi light. We'll check our brakes. They work. And we're off. And we are taxiing once again with my Thrustmaster rudder pedals, and I noticed the sensitivity is once again goofed up. Maybe the update to the Piper Warrior changed it, so I'll need to go back and play around with it. I find the sensitivity is always way too high. Addison is a freeware airport that you can get from flightsim.to. Check the video details if you would like to download it. And we've got a nice dedicated run-up area over here, so we'll pull over and do our run-up. Cut the cabin light back on. Flight controls are free and correct. Mixture into full rich. Next we'll bring up the throttle and do our mag check.
Gulfstream 671 Golf Sierra, follow the Falcon, then continue to gate Foxtrot 4. Following the Falcon, continue to gate Foxtrot 4, Gulfstream 671 Golf Sierra.
We've got a short taxi to the hold short line over here. Addison Tower, we're 8289 Alpha, holding short, runway 16 at Alpha, ready for departure.
Warrior 8289 Alpha, Addison Tower, runway 16, winds 170 at 4, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 16 at Alpha, Warrior 8289 Alpha. I am really enjoying these subscriber requests, so keep them coming. They give me some cool ideas that I might not have thought of on my own. Today we are doing the Bravo transition, and I did Google to see if there were any Bravo transition routes like there were in San Diego. There are none. However, I did see some real-world pilots talk about getting Bravo transitions to do orbits around downtown for sightseeing, so we're assuming that we're going to do something like this for tonight's flight. The warning, of course, for a Bravo is that you might not get to fly where you want to fly because they're going to vector you around as they need based on traffic, so even though you might want to orbit downtown Dallas, you might get pushed off to the side because of arriving traffic for one of the fields nearby. One of the other trivia bits about this flight is that the Dallas Bravo sectional is used for a bunch of the questions on the FAA written exam for private pilot, including departing from Addison. So I've kind of always wanted to depart from this field just because of the questions from the written exam. The night lighting in this area in the sim is just fantastic.
Warrior 89 Alpha, contact departure.
Over to departure, Warrior 89 Alpha. Lone Star departure, Warrior 8289 Alpha, 2100, climbing 2500.
Warrior 8289 Alpha, Lone Star departure, radar contact.
Alright, we're on track. Let's sit back and enjoy that awesome nighttime flight simulator scenery. Alright, that was an awesome flight. In fact, I had trouble during the editing process figuring out which scenes to cut because everything looked fantastic at night. The landing was a little spicy. There were no pappies for the default runway, so I was estimating glide slope, and it turned out there were trees right in front of the touchdown point, so I needed to power up, go over them, and then plop down, which is why you saw that bounce on landing. So I hope you enjoy realistic general aviation content like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.